OpenAI wanted to buy them in 2023. They said no. At the time, nobody understood why. They were 4 students, no funding, no marketing, no sales team, and they had just done something no software company had ever done before. $1 million to $100 million in just 12 months.
Our primary focus is to help professional programmers, to help people who build software for a living. In those environments, people are more and more using AI to code.
So why would they say no to the most powerful AI company in the world? Maybe they believed that they were building something much bigger. Now in 2026, even Elon Musk wants them for $60 billion. Will Cursor take the deal? That answer starts right now. Every company you will hear about on this channel started with a decision that made no sense. For Cursor, that decision was building AI software for mechanical engineers, not for developers, not for programmers, but for mechanical engineers. 4 MIT students: Michael Truell, Swale Asif, Arvid Lunemark, Aman Sanger. 2 of them had won international mathematics competitions, the kind of people every major tech company was fighting to hire. Wrong industry, wrong problem, wrong founders. 4 months later, it was dead. But here is what made these 4 people different from everyone else. They did not take the safe path. They asked themselves one honest question: what do we actually know how to build? They were developers. Every single day, the tools they used to write code felt like they were built for a different era. Then Michael Truell saw GPT-4, and he said something that would change everything. It felt like all of programming was going to flow through AI models. And if that was true, the tools developers used did not need improving. They needed to be replaced. That one belief is the entire company. Here is something that should bother you. Every other company building AI coding tools in 2023 had access to the exact same information. They could all see GPT-4. They could all see where this was heading. And almost every single one of them made the same decision: build a plugin, a small add-on that sits on top of the tools developers already use.
I think it's really important to be pragmatic when building these products. I think a lot of companies in maybe 2023 and 2024 raised a lot of money and spent it all in GPUs before product market fit. And I don't think that is the right move.
Think of it like a house. Everyone else was adding a fresh coat of paint, new curtains, a better kitchen. Cursor looked at that house and said, tear it down. Build something completely new from the ground up. They took the most popular code editor in the world, used by 35 million developers, and rebuilt the entire thing around AI.
So the decision to do an editor seemed kind of self-evident to us for at least what we wanted to do and achieve. Because when we started working on the editor, the idea was these models are going to get much better, their capabilities are going to improve, and it's going to entirely change how you build software.
Not a plugin, not an add-on, the whole application, rebuilt. At the time, this looked like madness. Competitors were shipping weekly, getting press, raising money. Cursor was rebuilding a foundation for a future that had not arrived yet, but they understood something the others missed. When AI started doing things no plugin could, editing 10 files at once, predicting your next move before you make it, Cursor was the only product that could deliver it because they owned the entire surface. Arvid Lunemark described how they built in 3 words: fast is fun. They shipped things competitors would not touch, used it themselves every single day, could not lie to themselves about whether it worked, and Truell obsessed over avoiding what he called the siren song, building something that looks incredible in a 2-minute demo, but falls apart the moment a real person uses it. Most AI companies fell for it. Cursor refused. March 2023, they launched. But nobody noticed. Picture this. You've just launched your product. You have almost no users. Nobody is writing about you. Nobody is talking about you. What do? Almost every company in history has the same answer. You hire a marketing team. You run ads. You go to conferences. You get on podcasts. You make noise. Cursor did none of that. They removed their contact information from their website. They refused meetings with enterprise companies. They hired 0 marketers. They spent 0 on ads. 0. Michael Truell, the CEO, described what 2023 actually looked like. We kind of lived like monks in 2023 and just focused on the product. And it really just spread from word of mouth. Monks. And here's what happened. Because of that difference, a developer at a company tries Cursor on a random Tuesday afternoon, not because they saw an ad, not because their manager told them to, because a colleague mentioned it in passing. They try it. It works. They tell 2 people. Those 2 people tell their teams. The team lead notices 8 engineers have started paying for it on their own credit cards without being asked, without any approval. The company signs an enterprise deal. No cold email. No sales call, no marketing budget. The product smuggled itself into companies through the people who could not stop using it. This happened again and again and again. Nobody saw it coming. But here is the part that nobody covers. The reason this worked was not just the product. It was one decision about what to measure. While every other startup celebrated downloads, signups, daily active users, the metrics that look great in a board presentation, Cursor tracked something different, something most people in the industry thought was wrong. They called it paid power users. One simple question: are you using Cursor 4 or 5 days a week? Not occasionally, not when you remember. Every single working day. Truell explained exactly why this changed everything. We looked at revenue. We looked at paid power users, measured by, are you using the AI 4 or 5 days a week? Not daily average users, not monthly average users. We're a tool that serves professionals, and the real costs mean we care about you graduating to that paid tier. In plain terms, a free user who opens the app once a week costs Cursor money. A daily user who hits the free limit and upgrades, that is the only user who matters. So every single product decision was judged by one question: does this make someone open Cursor every day instead of 3 times a week? Yes, ship it. No, throw it out. The result? 36% of free users converted to paid. The industry standard is 2 to 5%, 10 times the average. Not luck, the right metric. Now here is where the numbers stop making sense. The 4 students who had just rebuilt an editor, nobody asked them to rebuild, who had spent 0 on marketing, who had refused every shortcut, were now sitting on a number that did not exist in software history. January 2025, $100 million. 12 months from 1 million. Slack took 2.5 years to reach that. Dropbox took 4. Zoom took 5. Cursor took 12 months. Investors who passed in 2023 were calling back. Competitors who laughed at rebuilding the editor were now scrambling to copy it. Then it kept going. 300 million, 500 million, 1 billion, 2 billion. Revenue doubling every 2 months. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, called Cursor his favorite enterprise AI service, not his team's favorite. His. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, said he personally uses Cursor to write code. The CEO of the most powerful internet company on earth, using a product built by 4 students to do his job. More than half of the Fortune 500 had Cursor inside their engineering teams. And through all of this, Cursor had 60 employees, 60 people, $2 billion, $33 million per person. No comparable number exists in the history of software, not even close. At this point, you're probably thinking, this is the perfect startup story. 4 students, no funding, 0 marketing, $2 billion. What could possibly go wrong? Here is what nobody told you. Cursor does not build the AI that makes it work. It borrows it from Anthropic, from OpenAI, from Google. Think of Cursor like the most popular restaurant in the world. Every table full. Hour-long waiting list. Critics calling it the best in the city. But every ingredient, every single thing on the menu, comes from 3 suppliers. And those 3 suppliers have just opened their own restaurants right next door. And they are charging Cursor more rent every time another table fills up. At $500 million in revenue, Cursor was paying approximately $650 million to those suppliers, spending more than it was making every single month. And then, July 2025, Cursor changed its pricing. Developers who had built their entire working lives around this product suddenly got bills they did not expect. The reaction was immediate, furious. Cursor reversed the decision within days, issued full refunds. The CEO posted a public apology, and two of their most senior engineers walked out the door, straight to Elon Musk's AI company. For the first time, the rocket ship wobbled. So what did Cursor do? The same thing they had always done. They refused to accept the situation as fixed. They needed to predict a developer's next moves across multiple files in 300 milliseconds at a cost that was actually profitable. No AI company could do that for them. So they built it themselves. Truel, on the moment that changed everything, said this: "We definitely did not expect to be doing any of our own model development when we started. In fact, though, we do a ton of model development. At this point, every magic moment in Cursor involves a custom model in some way. And here is why that matters. Every suggestion a developer accepts inside Cursor, every suggestion they reject, every edit they make, becomes training data that only Cursor has. Data that makes their AI smarter every single day. Data that Google, Microsoft, and Anthropic can never get. The more people use Cursor, the better it gets. The better it gets, the more people use it. A loop that competitors cannot break into. By April 2026, Cursor reached profitability. Not because the market changed, not because they got lucky, because they built something that nobody else has. Now remember how this story started. OpenAI wanted to buy them. They said no. At the time, that sounded crazy. A startup with no revenue turning down the most powerful AI company in the world. But now, knowing everything we know, it sounds like the smartest decision in the history of the company. Because in April 2026, a very different offer arrived. Not from OpenAI, from Elon Musk. SpaceX signed a deal with Cursor, an option, to buy the entire company for $60 billion by the end of 2026. And if SpaceX decides not to acquire, they pay Cursor $10 billion for the work they did together.
SpaceX did announce that it locked in the right to buy Cursor at $60 billion. You can think of this as essentially a call option. If it does not exercise that option, SpaceX will pay $10 billion, they say, for the new partnership. Investors that I'm talking to tell me that is.
The four students who could not make mechanical engineering software work, who lived like monks, who refused every shortcut, who said no to OpenAI, are now sitting on a $60 billion offer from the most famous entrepreneur on Earth. The decision is still being made, and that brings us back to where we started. So, will they take the $60 billion? Honestly, that is the wrong question. Because here is what this story is actually about. It is not about AI. It is not about code. It is not even about $60 billion. It is about 7 decisions made quietly that the entire industry failed to see coming. They rebuilt the whole editor when everyone built a plugin. They served demanding users when everyone chased the masses. They tracked the one metric that actually told the truth. They let the product sell itself when everyone paid for noise. They let developers smuggle the product in before sales ever arrived. They added enterprise only after the demand already existed. And they built data that nobody on Earth can ever replicate. None of these are complicated. Every single one felt wrong at the time. And Michael Truel, CEO of a $60 billion company, said something worth sitting with. "I truly just think that the ceiling is so high that no matter what entrenchment you build, you can be leapfrogged." The sad truth for people like us, but the amazing truth for the world, is there are many leapfrogs that exist. A $60 billion CEO, openly admitting his own company could still be beaten. Google had the data, Microsoft had the money, OpenAI had the models, and 4 students making decisions that felt wrong every single time, quietly made every single one of those advantages irrelevant. Whether they take the deal or no, they already won. That is not a tech story. That is a human story. This is where startup stories get honest. Next, a teacher from Australia was rejected by investors over 100 times. She built a $42 billion company and destroyed Adobe in the process. This is what the startup. Subscribe.